morning and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ajeng Sharfina Adiwidia, and I will be your MC and moderator. And first of all, I would just like to welcome you to our event, Selamatkan Gajah, Save the Elephants means you save the world, a collaboration between Produksi Film Negara with Kitong Bisa International, Yayasan Generasi Lintas Budaya, Parvi 56, and JPKP in synergy to care for the environment. Thank you all so much for joining us today, whether here in person in the room with us, or I also understand that some of you guys are also tuning in online on Zoom, whether it's from Indonesia or from the States. Thank you so much for sticking with us quite late in the evening. So for this webinar, first of all, I would like to welcome some of our honorable guests. We have Ibu Chandra Wibowo as the Director of Production from Produksi Film Negara. We have Mr. Ananda Hutapea, who's tuning in online as the President and CEO of Kitong Bisa International. We have Ibu Indra Exploitasia MC, as the expert staff to the Ministry of the Environment of Forestry and the PLC Director of KKSE. We have Mr. Andreas Pipi Patria as the Head of the Communication Bureau of the Coordinating Ministry for Maritime Affairs and Investment Coordination. We have also Mr. Yudi Wahyudin as the Director of Protection of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology. And of course, we have our keynote speaker here. We have Professor Dr. Jimli Ashidiki SH as the trustee of the Yayasan Generasi Lintas Budaya and the author of Green and Blue Constitution. Of course, and then we have our friends all the way from Hollywood. We have Travis Floyd as producer and VR producer. We have Mr. Cameron Kim Dawson as the executive producer and producer. And then we have Ms. Olga Lydia here in the room with us as an environmental enthusiast and someone that we all know and are fond of. And finally, and last but not least, we have Shana Shannon as a student and singer, as a representative to the youth who care deeply so much for the environment. So, some of us might know this, but August is not the only month. August is not the month for only the Independence Day for Indonesia, but also the month of World Elephant Day. I believe it is founded in 2011 to campaign against the endangerment and the protection for elephants in Africa and Asia. And I believe we have support for over 100 wildlife foundation. And this is just one of the ways to raise awareness for the protection and for the care that we need to have to all of these beautiful, amazing creatures. So before we go into our main event, allow me to invite you all to pray according to your beliefs for the good flow of this event and for the issue that we all care about. So, ladies and gentlemen, according to your faiths and beliefs, let's bow our heads and pray. Amen. Right, let's get to our national anthem. First of all, I would like to invite a very, very wonderful person on stage here with us. She is a wonderful young talent who will lead us to our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up. And please welcome Shana Shannon. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, for the beautiful rendition of our national anthem. As part of the event, I obviously cannot thank you guys enough for your. I understand that we also have Port of Office who could not make it today. And so I would like to start with playing you the opening remarks from our friends. We have Miss Frida Luciana as a singer, and we have Mr. Andy F. Noya as the founder of beningbike.com, and we have also another singer that's beloved by our nation. We have Mr. Dedi Dukun. Take it away.
Halo, saya Frida Luciana mengucapkan Selamat Hari Gajah Sedunia. Mempelajari kondisi gajah Asia, terutama gajah Sumatera dan gajah pikmi di Borneo yang hanya terdapat di Indonesia. Untuk menjaga kelestarian gajah Asia dan hewan liar lainnya, terutama yang langka dan terancam punah. Saya mendukung konservasi gajah Asia. Semoga sukses! Jangan lupa tanggal 26 Agustus 2023 akan ada peringatan Hari Gajah Sedunia. Bersama kita selamatkan gajah Asia.
Berkaitan dengan Hari Gajah Sedunia, saya mengajak teman-teman untuk ayo kita bersama-sama menjadikan isu kepunahan gajah Asia sebagai isu global, sebagai isu internasional, agar kepedulian terhadap ancaman ini menjadi kepedulian bersama kita di planet bumi ini. Tetap semangat.
Halo, saya Dedi Dukun. Hari Gajah Sedunia yang jatuh pada tanggal 12 Agustus 2023. Mempelajari kondisi gajah Asia, terutama gajah Sumatera dan gajah pikmi di Borneo yang hanya terdapat di Indonesia. Untuk menjaga kelestarian gajah Asia dan hewan liar lainnya, terutama yang langka dan terancam punah, saya mendukung konservasi gajah Asia. Semoga sukses, sukses, dan sukses. Jangan lupa tanggal 26 Agustus di Jakarta akan ada peringatan Hari Gajah Sedunia. Bersama kita selamatkan gajah Asia. Selamatkan gajah Asia. Selamatkan gajah Asia. Saya Dedi Dukun.
Selamatkan gajah Asia. Save Asian elephants. That's the one thing that we're striving for. And next up, we will have an opening remark from the Ministry of Environment and Forestry. Please welcome Ibu Derha Indra Eksploitasia MC as the expert staff. Take it away.
Salam konservasi. Indonesia memiliki kekayaan yang luar biasa dalam hal keragaman jenis mamalia besar, dan salah satunya kita mempunyai gajah Sumatera. Gajah Sumatera merupakan flagship spesies endemik Pulau Sumatera. Gajah merupakan satwa dengan kecerdasan yang sangat tinggi dan mempunyai rasa empati. Dan gajah adalah aset bangsa dan menjadi simbol kedaulatan keanekaragaman hayati. Kementerian Lingkungan Hidup dan Kehutanan Republik Indonesia telah berkomitmen untuk mengambil tindakan konkret, yaitu melalui Instruksi Presiden nomor 1 tahun 2023 mengenai pengarus utamaan pelestarian keanekaragaman hayati dalam pembangunan berkelanjutan. Dan keluarnya Instruksi Menteri Lingkungan Hidup dan Kehutanan nomor 1 tahun 2022 tentang perlindungan satwa liar atas ancaman penjeratan dan perburuan liar di dalam dan di luar kawasan hutan yang memberikan arah terhadap upaya perlindungan satwa karismatik ini. Mari kita jaga langkah kaki besar ini agar tetap menapaki alam Indonesia, memberikan harapan bagi generasi masa depan. Dengan segala upaya kita bersama, mari kita memberikan masa depan yang lebih cerah bagi gajah-gajah dan satwa lainnya yang bersama manusia menghuni planet kita. Selamat Hari Gajah Sedunia 2023.
Are very rampant, and that's what we're trying to fight against. Next up, we will have an opening remark from Bapak Andreas Dipi Patria as the head of Communications Bureau of the Ministry of Maritime and Investment Coordination. Take it away, guys.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Salam konservasi. Indonesia memiliki kekayaan yang luar biasa dalam hal keanekaragaman jenis mamalia besar. Dan salah satunya yang kita miliki adalah spesies gajah Sumatera. Gajah Sumatera merupakan spesies endemik yang berasal dari Pulau Sumatera. Gajah merupakan hewan yang memiliki kecerdasan yang sangat tinggi dan mempunyai rasa empati. Gajah juga merupakan aset bangsa dan menjadi simbol kedaulatan keanekaragaman hayati. Melalui instruksi Presiden nomor 1 tahun 2023 mengenai pengharusutamaan pelestarian keanekaragaman hayati dalam pembangunan berkelanjutan dan keluarnya instruksi Menteri Lingkungan Hidup dan Kehutanan nomor 1 tahun 2022 tentang perlindungan satwa liar atas ancaman pelestarian dan perburuan liar di dalam dan di luar kawasan, yang memberikan arah terhadap upaya perlindungan satwa karismatik ini. Sebagaimana kita ketahui, Kementerian Lingkungan Hidup dan Kehutanan merupakan salah satu kementerian yang berada dalam koordinasi Kementerian Koordinator Bidang Kemaritiman dan Investasi. Di Kemenko Maritim sendiri terdapat kediputian yang menangani bidang lingkungan dan kehutanan yang menjadi leading dalam mengkoordinasikan masalah-masalah kehutanan dan lingkungan. Oleh karena itu dibutuhkan koordinasi dan komunikasi yang intens antar lintas sektor terkait demi mengurangi ancaman pelestarian dan perburuan liar satwa Indonesia. Mari kita jaga langkah kaki besar ini agar tetap menapaki alam Indonesia, memberikan harapan kepada generasi masa depan dengan segala upaya yang kita bersama. Mari memberikan masa depan yang lebih cerah bagi gajah-gajah dan satwa lainnya bersama manusia menghuni planet kita. Selamat Hari Gajah Sedunia 2023. Salam konservasi.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Bapak Andreas, for the wonderful video greeting. As we all know, the efforts for conservation is not possible to do on our own, and that's why we need to band together to work together and for the best of these wonderful, wonderful animals and for our nature, for our environment, and for our home. Next, we will have another video greeting, this time from Bapak Yudi Wahyudin as the Director of Protection from the Ministry of Education, Culture, and Research Technology.
Dalam rangka memperingati Hari Gajah Sedunia, mari kita sama-sama untuk berkomitmen melestarikan hewan gajah agar tidak punah dari muka bumi. Hutan hijau, bunga merekah, burung bersiul, kuda meringkik. Mari kita lestarikan gajah untuk kehidupan lebih baik.
Thank you. Thank you, Pak Yudi Wahyudin, for the wonderful opening remarks. Now, with all the video greetings that we've gone through, I am very, very happy to welcome one of our great friends here who have been here with us. Please welcome Ibu Chandra Wibowo as the Director of Production of Produksi Film Negara. Ibu Chandra, the floor is yours.
Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih untuk teman-teman bahwa PFN sudah dilibatkan untuk acara ini di peringatan Hari Gajah Internasional Dan pada kesempatan kali ini tentunya kita dalam kehidupan sehari-hari di era sekarang ini tentunya kebutuhan akan manusia itu sangat tinggi sehingga kadang-kadang kita melupakan lingkungan yang seharusnya menjadi sesuatu yang kita lindungi. Dengan semakin sempitnya lahan yang digunakan oleh manusia, tentunya populasi satwa liar itu pun juga menjadi terancam, termasuk diantaranya gajah. Nah, dengan sebuah cerita, maka masyarakat atau siapapun itu bisa lebih mencintainya. Tentunya ini kaitannya adalah dengan konservasi gajah yang ada di dunia ini. Salah satunya yang ada di Indonesia. Itu sebabnya PFN dalam hal ini akan turut memfasilitasi untuk bagaimana kita bisa merekam gajah itu sendiri, kehidupannya. Kebetulan saya dulu dari biologi, dan tingkah laku itu tampaknya memang harus kita sebarkan bahwa mereka adalah makhluk hidup yang hidup bersama kita, bukan sebagai komoditi, tapi adalah bagian dari kehidupan kita yang tentunya juga mempunyai andil besar. Itu sebabnya dengan adanya teknologi seperti XR Studio bisa membuat cerita yang kita bangun menjadi sesuatu yang lengkap. Sama halnya kalau misalnya kita ingat dulu ada Free Willy, maka kita juga bisa melihat bagaimana animo masyarakat terhadap kelestarian atau konservasi terhadap whales. Dan ini pula yang kita coba sama-sama harapkan bahwa dengan adanya teknologi XR yang nanti ke depan juga kita libatkan filmmaker dari mancanegara untuk bisa menghasilkan sebuah karya yang bisa mendukung kelestarian gajah di dunia. Terima kasih sekali lagi, selamat dan mudah-mudahan kita bisa menyelenggarakan ini dengan sebaik-baiknya. Selamat Hari Gajah Internasional. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Ibu Chandra, for the warm, welcoming remarks. As Ibu Chandra have mentioned earlier, there are so many ways to contribute to the effort of conservation, of saving these elephants. And one of them, what we're doing and what we're going to talk about today, is how we can raise awareness from media, from pop culture, and from film. And that's very, very interesting. And we cannot wait to see what everyone has in store for us. For the final welcoming remarks, I would like to welcome Bapak Prof. Dr. Jimli Ashdiki as the trustee of Yayasan Generasi Lintas Budaya to take the floor.
Baiklah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, selamat siang, selamat sore, kapan saja saudara-saudara mengikuti acara ini, karena ada di YouTube. Dan salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Saya, seperti halnya yang lain tadi, juga ingin mengucapkan selamat Hari Gajah Internasional, Hari Gajah Sedunia, dan juga sekaligus Hari Gajah Nusantara. Dan mudah-mudahan dengan memperingati Hari Gajah ini, sama-sama mengingatkan kepada kita semua tentang konservasi, tentang pentingnya penyelamatan hewan gajah, terutama gajah Sumatera yang punya ciri khasnya kita miliki. Tapi lebih dari itu, saudara-saudara, ini mudah-mudahan mengingatkan kita juga, bukan hanya gajah, tapi bagaimana kita memberi perhatian lebih serius gitu tentang pentingnya perhatian kita kepada hewan. Di Indonesia ini hewan liar dan hewan peliharaan jenis-jenisnya termasuk paling banyak di dunia, termasuk yang paling banyak. Dan menurut laporan juga hewan-hewan liar itu yang paling banyak terancam punah juga di Indonesia. Nah, mengapa demikian? Salah satu sebabnya adalah karena kita kurang akrab dengan hewan. Kita cenderung memusuhi hewan. Padahal saudara-saudara, saatnya sekarang umat manusia tidak hanya sibuk memikirkan tentang human rights, tapi juga animals rights. Jadi hewan punya hak asasinya sendiri, seperti juga manusia. Nah, oleh karena itu, melalui acara peringatan Hari Gajah ini, mudah-mudahan kita dapat inspirasi untuk memberi perhatian lebih besar pada pentingnya animals right bersamaan dengan human right itu. Dan lebih dari itu, saudara-saudara, kita sebagai negara Katulistiwa ini adalah salah satu negara yang paling menghadapi problem serius di bidang lingkungan hidup. Bukan hanya mengenai hewan, tapi sebenarnya kita ini sedang berada dalam kondisi darurat lingkungan hidup. Saya berharap bahwa negara dan juga kita, ya, segenap komponen masyarakat dan bangsa menyadari bagaimana kita bergotong royong untuk membangun penyadaran bahwa lingkungan hidup kita ini sedang dalam keadaan darurat. Saudara-saudara, masjid di Muara Baru itu yang dibangun tahun 95-96 sekarang udah tenggelam. Artinya air laut kita ini dalam waktu hanya 30 tahun sudah menenggelamkan masjid. Gitu. Artinya air laut sudah naik cepat sekali dan boleh jadi juga tanah makin tenggelam. Seperti pernah kita alami dulu 11.000 tahun yang lalu ketika kita ini sebuah benua lalu pecah menjadi 17.000 pulau, itu yang digambarkan oleh banyak ahli di dunia. Maka climate change, ya, naiknya air laut, ditambah yang ketiga, kita sekarang di Jakarta ini sedang menghadapi masalah polusi. Maka kita sedang berada dalam keadaan darurat lingkungan, saudara-saudara. Maka marilah kita bersama-sama saling membantu, mendorong, menggerakkan kesadaran masyarakat, dan lebih dari itu kita berharap juga negara, pemerintah, itu juga harus dengan sungguh-sungguh menggerakkan kebijakan. Apalagi sekarang, ya, lingkungan hidup ini sudah kita adopsi menjadi pasal Undang-Undang Dasar 45 sebagai Green Constitution of Indonesia, baik dalam pasal 28 maupun dalam pasal 33 Undang-Undang Dasar. Maka semua kebijakan negara, kebijakan pemerintahan tidak boleh bertentangan dengan prinsip Green Constitution ini. Jadi inilah kita bergotong royong, ya, semua elemen masyarakat dan bangsa menggerakkan kesadaran lingkungan hidup karena kita sedang berada dalam keadaan darurat lingkungan, termasuk salah satunya darurat hewan liar yang kita tidak akrab, kita musuhi, dan lebih khusus lagi ialah yang kita peringati hari ini, gajah. Mudah-mudahan peringatan kita tahun ini punya, ya, makna, memberi inspirasi bagi kita semua untuk terus menggerakkan bukan hanya retorika, tapi juga ada gebrakan-gebrakan yang saya sendiri bersyukur saudara-saudara sekalian sebagai bagian dari elemen masyarakat untuk berpartisipasi, ya, dan tentu bersama-sama dengan pemerintah terus menggerakkan kesadaran pentingnya lingkungan hidup ini. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Jim Lee, for the very insightful remark. We cannot wait to see what you have in store for us next, sir. So as Professor Jim Lee said, we should not only be aware of our human rights, but also animal rights, and because we are right now, as of now, are in a state of environmental emergency. And that's why we need to band together and we need to work together to be aware. And therefore, from being aware, we can do something and make good of our actions, for our environment. Right. Thank you so much, everyone. We will now be entering our main session for today. So I'm going to hop into the Zoom for a second, and I'm going to welcome Mr. Travis Cloyd as producer and VR producer. Allow me to introduce him for a moment. Let's pull up his bio, please.
Hello.
Hi, Travis. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Cool. May we know where you're tuning in from?
I'm in Los Angeles. I'm in Hollywood. Live in Hollywood.
Very, very cool. So just to introduce Travis for a second. So Travis is an accomplished futurist, innovator, producer, professor, and entertainment executive. You've done it all. You are the CEO of Worldwide XR, based in LA and Miami, Florida. You're an award-winning producer and metaverse educator who operates a portfolio of cutting-edge businesses focusing on trending innovation. He's also an arts, music, and entertainment ambassador to the Global Blockchain Business Council and a member of Producers Guild of America, a part of the New Media Council. So, Travis, and you've also you've done all of these stuff, and I'm sure you have a lot to share for us today. But for tonight, what will you be sharing with us?
Yes, I'm going to talk a little bit about virtual production and digital rights. I think you're having an incredible event that you're doing right here with Elephant Day and World Elephant Day, and appreciate everything that you're doing to bring people together to raise awareness and talk about these topics. I think it's very important. And so I appreciate you and all the sponsors that you guys have there to being involved into doing this. And, one of the things that, I want to talk about is a project that myself and another producer who's going to come on after me, Mr. Kim Dawson, and I have been producing. And as you've mentioned, I play a lot of different roles. I am a futurist and an educator, a professor at a major institution, Thunderbird School of Global Management, which is the #1 global management program in the world, #1 international business. We have the #1 innovation program in the US over MIT and Harvard. So from an educational perspective, we do things at the highest level. And then from the enterprise perspective, we develop digital holograms, virtual reality experiences, mixed reality experiences, all the latest, greatest futuristic innovations and technologies at the highest levels with some of the biggest rights and brands in the industry. And so, we have this really incredible moment in time right now where all this advanced innovation and technology has accelerated and allowed for us to use these tools, artificial intelligence, machine learning, to recreate and to simulate new experiences, new environments. There's a big topic of conversation in Hollywood right now about digital rights, and big stars, big actors are fighting for their digital rights. And it's because there are these billion-dollar corporations in the world that have created these tools that allow for creators to create content. So I could recreate a hologram of an elephant versus physically going to a location and filming. So one of the things that's so incredible about the innovation, the technology, and what we explore and how we do things is that these things could be utilized for the future of storytelling, so that we're not ruining environments. We're not changing habitats. We're not doing things that disrupt the natural ecosystem and environment. And instead, we can storytell with people who know these stories, but using game engine technology, using all these virtual reality, experiential innovation to do things at the highest level. And so, so we had this vision to tell a story. There's famous stories in the US, famous movies like Free Willy and Dolphin Tale that are very heartfelt, passionate stories. And so we wanted to put together a story that spoke to the heart of the masses around the world, that shined a light around, these elephants, that help protect and create awareness on these topics and these issues. And so, we put together a great story, great teams, great technology, and our focus is really just to use the movie as a form of education, because sometimes these big movies and these experiences are used to bring people in to these empathetic moments in time that give them the heartfelt passion about these stories, bringing them into the movie, bringing them into these moments in time. And so those are the things that we're focused on.
That's really, really cool. And I totally get what you mean about how technology is so advanced and everything is moving so fast that, we're trying to keep up, but also at the same time, we're trying to be as responsible as we can. And I am really, really excited to get to know more about this project that you talked about. Can you tell us more?
Yes, well, I'll tell you, Kim will probably get into more detail after me about the exact details of the project. But we're leveraging, like I said, the greatest innovation, game engine technology, building things the same way Lion King built the lion, and Lion King is the same type of technology that we create, we use, we leverage to recreate elephants, to simulate their environment so that we're not having to destroy natural habitats. And that's kind of the focus. And then more importantly, I'll tell you this, we think above and beyond just the traditional movie. Movies have been around for 100 years. We've gone to theaters everywhere in the world to be able to watch a movie on a flat rectangular screen. We're having this conversation right now on a flat rectangular screen. But the future of how we engage in content is going to be spatially displayed around us. And so if we're going to tell a story in the form of a movie on a flat theater screen or streaming platform like Netflix or a mobile screen, our perspective is we want to tell these stories beyond the screen, spatially displayed around us, the way we live content. So you can share like a text message to a child in a classroom, an elephant, and they can pull out their phone and open up their camera and display a hologram of an elephant in the classroom around them. So they can storytell with holograms and digital assets in their own environments. And that's the future of how we engage in content. I mean, I'll tell you this, here are these glasses, I'll put these on right here. These are X-Real glasses. These are the futuristic glasses that allow me to go into these futuristic environments and be able to reach my hands out and engage with these lifelike virtual simulated experiences. And so like today, we're at the very beginning. We're at this new shift, this new era, this new change in computing and how we engage in content. And so I do it because I'm an educator at the highest level. I'm a professor. I teach it in classes, but then I go out there and we do it in real life. We do it at the highest level. And so we have great people like Kim that can talk about Elephant Wild in the story, but I'm very excited by it because I think it's going to create a lot of exposure, a lot of awareness around these issues without changing habitats, without destroying natural environments, and bringing people into the emotion, the passion of these stories. And that's what excites me the most about this opportunity.
Wonderful. And you're totally right about it being a completely unique experience. Yes, we've been going to the movies for ages. And, we see movies like Lion King, where we're taken to a completely different experience. Now, can you talk us through what is the process behind it? Because we as laymen, we're so curious.
Yeah, great question. Because, these are all future forms of storytelling, right? Like if we wanted to tell a story, we could tell a documentary, we could do a feature film, we could do a scripted series, we can write a book, we could do a commercial. There's different pathways for us to shine a light on a story. And now today, we all of a sudden have these new technologies, these new innovations, these new mediums, virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, spatial computing, location-based entertainment. So it's this whole new world that is beyond the screen. beyond the screen. And what that has created, when you have companies like Apple, who are about to release the new Vision Pros, and you have Meta, who spent billions and billions of dollars on the evolution of how we're going to engage in content. He is doing that because that is the future way of how we're going to engage in content. And so all these technologies are new forms of storytelling. So it requires a lot of thought process that goes into how do you go from putting it on a piece of paper for a flat screen into writing stories that are around us, spatially displayed around us, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. How do you storytell in these new narratives, these new forms of media? And so that takes a lot of conversation. That takes a lot of conversation with the right stakeholders, the people that know these elephants, the people that work, within the government around these environments, the people that know all the technology, the people that know the stories and the cameras and the direction. It takes a collaboration. That's why when you look at a movie and at the end of the movie, there's hundreds of names and credits that come down at the end of the movie. It's because it takes hundreds of people to bring something to life. And so these are new forms of storytelling, and it takes leveraging new tools, artificial intelligence, game engine technology, to create new stories in 3D, not 2D. And that takes a lot of things, to be honest with you. So, but yeah, I'll leave it like that.
Thank you so much. We are usually we kind of skim through the credits, right? We walk into a movie, we watch the movie, and then credits roll, we go out. But there are hundreds and thousands of people involved, and it takes a lot of collaboration. And that's really, I believe, is one of the magic of filmmaking and storytelling. Now, Travis, unfortunately, our time is up, so I'm gonna get back to you during our Q&A session. So for our audience, whether you're in the room with us or you're on the Zoom, please take note of your question, put it in the Zoom if you have. And we will go back to the Q&A discussion. But Travis, Floyd, thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause.
It's my honor.
Travis.
It's my honor. Thank you very much.
Right. And next up, we will be going into our next session. We have our second speaker. We have Mr. Kim Dawson. Can we pull up his bio, please, so we can get to know him a little bit better? Yes, here we are. So we have Mr. Cameron Kim Dawson, who's been in the film and TV industry for 40 years. He's based in Orlando, Florida. He serves as Vice President of Mansion Film and Television based in Branson, Missouri. Along with his productions credit, he has also served as a production executive and a line producer for Showtime Networks, sports TV leader Transworld International, the new Mickey Mouse Club, MMC for Disney Channel, and Making the Band in a joint venture with ABC and MTV. Kim also produced Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1, 2, and 3 for New Line Cinema. That's a staple part of my childhood, by the way. And then we also have Bobby Jones' Stroke of Genius for Sony Pictures, among many, many other productions. He continues to seek new, exciting intellectual property that can become engaging, impactful content. He embraced new immersive XR tech as a way of enhancing the audience experience for both entertainment and educational content. So please welcome Kim Dawson. Hi.
Thank you. Good evening. How's everybody in Jakarta?
We're doing absolutely wonderful. How are you doing, Kim?
Very well. Thank you very much. It's a joy to be a part of this seminar and to be part of the movement that really shines a light on the elephant situation in Southeast Asia in particular, where according to the World Wildlife Fund and other animal rights activists, it's a critical issue that confronts elephants all over the world, but Africa has been the primary focus of attention in the past, and all of us hope to bring a much more focused attention to the issues that confront elephants, particularly in Sumatra and other parts of Indonesia, where human conflict and loss of habitat are critical issues that are facing the elephant populations.
Wonderful. Yes, you're totally right. With all the endangered and the almost nearly extinct elephants, a lot of the focus is on Africa, and so it's really, really cool, and we're really, really excited to have Asian elephants, the ones in Sumatra, to have a little shine of light on them. So, Kim, you've been in film and TV for a long time. You've done so many things. I'm sure that you have a lot to share with us. So, can you tell us what we're gonna focus on today?
Well, a few years ago, a couple of partners of mine, Rowdy Harrington, a writer and director, and Tim Moore, another producer, and I were introduced to a story about a baby elephant that had been kidnapped and put into some street trade, and we turned that story into a screenplay. When we met Travis, we expanded our horizons and determined that screenplay, that two-dimensional movie, could actually become a suite of content that would surround this topic and allow moviegoers to continue to engage with the issues surrounding the elephants. One of the most important things with movies is that they stick around a long time. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a good example of that. To your point, a lot of people grew up on that brand of entertainment, and we hope that Elephant Wild will do the very same thing. Much like, as Travis mentioned, the Dolphin Tale movie has really impacted the dolphin populations and how captive dolphins are treated, not just in aquariums, but also in various facilities around the world, where people are now engaging with them in wholly new and different ways. The same is true of the orca. As you know, Free Willy was a movie that we released in 1994. And during that process, the world became aware of the orca problem, how mistreated they were, and why captive orcas were not a really great idea. Now, with Travis's technology and being able to create digital elephants in spatial areas where I can sit in Orlando, Florida, or you guys can be in Jakarta, and we can all travel to Sumatra and literally engage in that environment, walk through the jungles or the rainforests, and see these elephants in their natural habitats without disturbing them. This is a fascinating new world for me, and allows us to tell stories in a way that really does broaden the opportunity for audiences all over the world. We know that young people in particular are going to be the future of environmental change and concern. And because so many of these young people are not using traditional media, but rather using their phones and flat and small screens to engage, also with head-mounted displays like the Oculus and the new ProVision glasses from Apple. These are new technologies that will allow people to really learn about topics and be both entertained and educated at the same time. And what studies have found is that this kind of engagement is much more impactful. It leaves a much greater impression and actually leads to positive action on the part of the participants. So that's our goal with this movie, is to, I would use an analogy like the feature film Elephant Wild, which will be set in Sumatra and engage with I think there are 3 American actors who will be part of the story, and the rest of the cast, almost 100 different actors, will be all Indonesian or actors from that region of the world. So our goal is to produce a film in Sumatra and take advantage of all the wonderful resources that are there, as well as access to the mahouts and the other elephant trainers who work in this space to try and tell this story in a compelling way. And that allows us to really think of the movie as a locomotive, a train that is being that's pulling all these other elements of storytelling, which would allow us to use both XR and VR and other technologies that will really truly change the world, and hopefully not just raise awareness, but make change, whether it's in policy, governmental policy, and understanding of the balance of nature that needs to be made, where loss of habitat can be perhaps mitigated by this new knowledge that we're gaining. And while the movie itself is a story about a young American girl who comes to Indonesia to try and get her mom to come home, her mom's a large animal veterinarian who's working with Save the Elephants in Indonesia, and has been there a long time. And her daughter is missing her a great deal, so she comes there, and in the process gets caught up in a very dramatic and thrilling story about with a young mahout, Indonesian mahout, who the two of them will actually go and rescue a baby elephant from some devious people who have been trying to kidnap and otherwise take advantage of these magnificent beasts as tourist attractions rather than leaving them in the wild. And our goal really is to put enough of that story in place that allows people to understand the importance of maintaining that wild elephant environment and allow them to live in peace and harmony with humans, where we can actually turn the tide and change the future of the elephants, because they're so endangered at this point. And I think now is the time to do that. And we're very pleased to be able to bring this project to the environment in Indonesia. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause for Mr. Kim Davis. As a
Thank
general
you.
audience, I totally agree with you. The fact that there has been so many social issues, environmental issues that I came to learn from watching movies. You mentioned Dolphin Tale, mentioned Free Willy, among other things, and I think that's a really good gateway towards having a better understanding and actually raising awareness and being more aware and actually getting more people to be aware of it as well. Now, I guess my final question to you is, during this whole preparation process, what has been the most interesting part for you?
Well, I think, frankly, it's the interaction with the people, starting with Andy Hoopta, and the people that we've been able to meet, both in Indonesia and in the region, where and I think that's the thing that's fascinating, is there seems to be a movement towards understanding and really accepting the responsibility with regard to animal rights and being proactive with regard to producing this change. And I think this is all, it's our responsibility. We're going to pass this responsibility on to young people, and I think that's where film and television, to be sure, and all of this new emerging media will really have an impact, because we will become, I think, rather than just passive observers, will become active, engaged citizens of the future. And I think that's what's so exciting about this project, is that we can see the concern and excitement of the people, both in Indonesia and throughout Southeast Asia, around this topic. And I'm very much looking forward to our a trip down there and being able to bring this project to life.
We're so excited to have you on board and have you come down here and see what it is and to meet all the people. So thank you so much, Mr. Kim Davis. Let's give another round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you. Very kind.
Thank you, Kim. We will get back to you for the Q&A session. We so appreciate you and Travis for staying up so late for us. Please stick around for the Q&A session. For those of you guys who have questions, who have comments, please take note, put them in the Zoom, and we'll get right back to you. Right. So we've talked with some of our senior speakers, and now let's switch gears a little bit. Let's move to the youth representative. Yeah. So we have our friend here that we've met earlier to lead our national anthem. We have Miss Shana Shannon. Can we pull up her bio, please? So Shana Shannon is a singer, actress, YouTuber from Indonesia. She, in 2017, she was named the Great Indonesian National Anthem Ambassador by the Governor of DKI Jakarta, Anies Baswedan, and she has also performed at the Tomohon International Flower Festival in 2006 and Walt Disney World Program premiere in Florida. Hi, Shannon, come on down here.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. So we have got a little teaser of your beautiful, beautiful voice. So today, what will you be singing for us?
As a national singer, I'm gonna perform one of my first national songs that I've ever sang, Indonesia Pusaka.
Wonderful. Take it away, Shanna.
Thank you. Indonesia tanah airku, abadi lancarnya.
give a round of applause for Shana Shannon, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, selamat pagi semuanya, and good evening to those who are joining us in America through online. Nama aku Shana Shannon. Aku adalah seorang penyanyi, aktivis nasional, dan seorang siswa di Morning Star Academy, representing the young generation. First of all, aku ingin berterima kasih sudah mengundang aku hari ini untuk nyanyi dan untuk menjadi narasumber dalam rangka Hari Gajah Sedunia di acara ini. So, berbicara tentang gajah, I actually remember the first time my parents ever brought me to see an elephant for the first time when I was just a little girl. I remember feeling so much happiness and so much joy because I've always wanted to see an elephant my whole life when I was a little girl. And I remember when I first saw an elephant, I kept thinking of how amazing this animal actually is. I can't stop but think how amazing and magnificent elephants are. And remembering this moment now, as a 17-year-old, it got me thinking, I cannot imagine a life in the future where animals like elephants are extinct. And I hope and I pray that does not happen in the future. Aku rasa sebagai manusia yang tinggal di bumi ini, kita semua mempunyai tanggung jawab yang besar untuk menjaga dan merawat bumi ini, termasuk semua flora dan fauna yang ada. Karena Tuhan menciptakan kita semua untuk hidup berdampingan. So, as next year there's an upcoming movie, Elephant Wild. Aku harap ini akan menjadi an eye opener untuk masyarakat, untuk the public. Kalau elephants harusnya kita protect, harusnya kita jaga, dan harusnya mereka tidak dibunuh karena they are not meant to be killed. Aku juga sangat sedih karena aku sering baca di artikel sekarang kalau gajah-gajah di Afrika dan di Asia, termasuk di Indonesia sekarang sudah terlabeled sebagai critically endangered species. And this makes me truly sad. Jadi aku ingin mengajak generasi muda untuk ikut berkomitmen untuk menjaga dan melindungi and protect bumi ini dengan semua flora dan fauna yang ada. Because this earth is our home, so we have to protect our animals because they are also part of God's creation. So I think that's for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shannon. Let's give a round of applause, another round of applause for Shana Shannon, everybody. Thank you so much, and it's truly inspiring to see such a young soul and a young activist to be so invested and so passionate about this cause. Next up, after we stretch a little bit, let's move on to our next speaker. We have Ibu Olga Lydia. Let's meet her in a second. Ibu Olga Lydia is an Indonesian actress, model, presenter, film producer, environmental enthusiast. We've seen her on TV, we've seen her in amazing movies like Imperfect, Arini, Ave Maria, Mengenai 7 Hati, 7 Cinta, 7 Wanita, to name a few. She's also the executive producer for Sang Pemimpi and Negeri Lima Menara. So I would like to welcome Ibu Lydia. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Ajeng.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You have done absolutely everything there is to imagine. What got you into the cause of environment, first of all?
Thank you, Ajeng. Good morning, everyone, and good evening for LA and Florida. My name is Olga Lydia. I'm very happy to be here, especially because we're celebrating the Elephant Day. So, first of all, my first encounter with elephants, especially elephant, is when I was very young. The name is Colonel Hati. If you know Colonel Hati. Colonel Hati is the elephant in Jungle Book Disney. I watch it like over and over and over again, and there's a very memorable word that he said. He said like, elephant never forgets. And indeed, the elephant has a very good memory. So that is my first encounter with elephant since a very young age. And in that movie also, there is King Louis, the orangutan. Even though we know that the Jungle Book actually took place in India, but orangutan is originally only in Indonesia. But probably, I don't know why the producer decided to have orangutan in that movie. Probably because between these three big apes like gorilla, chimpanzee, orangutan, I think orangutan is the cutest. Don't you agree, guys? So I think, I hope that this is, if I may suggest that in that movie, probably you can put also our orangutan, because gajah in Indonesia, the elephant in Indonesia, it's in Sumatra and Kalimantan Island. And the orangutan is also in Sumatra and Kalimantan Island. So hopefully it would be more accurate than the Jungle Book. Anyway, since that is my experience, I really believe that movie is the best way to give awareness to more and more people, and it become more emotionally for the people who watch the movie, and makes them really wants to preserve our environment. In Indonesia, ironically, I mean, most of the people doesn't really aware that we have to preserve the environment. So the activists like Shannon here and everybody here is really have to fight for the environment. Example, if we go abroad, all the animals is not really afraid of the human. It's so different than here in Indonesia. One day in Australia, I was having fish and chips in the pier, and I have to fight with a seagull because the seagull wants to take my fish. So I don't know what to do actually. Should I give up, give the fish to the bird? But is it allowed? I mean, like, don't invite more birds to that restaurant and give trouble to the owner? So I was laughing because it's so bizarre. It won't happen here in Indonesia because all the animals so afraid of the human, and the seagull is really so brave. And I talked to the seagull in Indonesian, and I said, like, if you're in Indonesia, you will end up in the pen. Well, actually, tragically, not because in Indonesia we're that hungry, but some of the people, a lot of them, think that killing the animal is for fun. It's not only for food. I think we really need more campaign awareness for the people, for us especially, so we're aware that we have to live with the animals. Ironically and tragically, actually, Indonesia is a very religious country, but we're not really aware that God created all of them, all of those animals, for a purpose, that we have to protect them, that we are the most powerful creature, that our job, our duty is to protect the environment and all the animals in it. So I'm very happy that you choose Indonesia as your project for your new movie about elephant. It's one of the endangered animal in Indonesia. In Sumatra and also in Kalimantan, there's a lot of mining, a lot of plantation. And we hope that this movie can give awareness to the world and especially to Indonesia, and make us very proud that we have this very special creature specifically in Indonesia. So thank you, Mr. Kim Dawson. Thank you, Mr. Traffic Floyd. We're really wait for you here to to make this project happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Lydia. And you brought a really interesting point about the orangutan representation, but also, and more importantly, the representation of the issue of elephant conservation, of mining and plantation that are happening in the region. And I'm sure that we talked about how storytelling and filmmaking can do so much to raise awareness for these issues, and for you as an environmental enthusiast, as an animal lover, and also as someone who's a seasoned, professional in the industry. How do you go about this? How do you try to bring these issues that are important to you through your platform?
Yes, well, as one of the influencer, of course, we have to put a good example. So especially in the social media, it has a good side and bad side. Some of the people promoting the violence through the animals, but luckily more and more people, they fight in the social media to change the way people think about treating the animals. So I think this time social media is one of the good way to promoting the awareness of the environment, of the taking care of the animals also. Not only the wildlife animals, but we also have problems like stray dogs, stray cats, and that's not that many birds in the big cities in Indonesia, because people sometimes hunt them for fun. So it is a big problem. For me, a couple of times I've even talked to the minister also that we have to start from the cities also, that we cannot aware that we have to take care of the wildlife animal in the jungle if we cannot, be kind to the animals near us. So it's also a campaign that we have to do.
That's so true, because for a lot of us, maybe it feels so far away. Yeah, when we think about wildlife conservation, we have to go to the jungle, we have to be there, we have to see it for ourselves, when most of the times we've never been to the jungle. We've never seen these wild elephants roaming free. But a really good point on taking care of what's around us, because the environment is all around us. It's our home, right? And I suppose my final question to you is maybe you have a message for the audience, for industry professionals, about what we should do moving forward, with this awareness in mind.
So for the industry to do this, I mean, like a lot of TV shows already put this awareness, but for a movie, actually, probably we don't really have the skill like the Travis Floyd explained to us, how he can make a movie like The Lion King without disturbing the environment. So I hope that you involve also the Indonesian crews, so we can learn from you also, Mr. Travis, because we don't have the skill, but we have the equipment already, and it's brand new from the PFN, but we don't really we still cannot use or optimize the equipment actually. So hopefully in the future we can also make movies with that technology.
Yes, thank you so much, Ibu Galidia, for your insightful session. We hope that we can collaborate. We hope that we can learn from each other, as I'm sure we have a lot to learn from. And please stick around with us. We will be doing the Q&A, as I have mentioned before. do fill out the Zoom chats, do fill out the Zoom Q&A. We will be happy to talk to you in just a little bit. But first, let's switch gears one more time to watch several video testimonials from several of our public figure friends and see how they use that platform for this cause. Take it away, guys.
Saya Henry dari Dari Sumatera Utara. Saya mengucapkan selamat Hari Gajah. Saya ingin mengajak teman-teman, ayo kita mulai dari hal yang kecil untuk menjaga gajah Sumatera agar tidak punah. Ayo semangat!
Saya Ken dari Nagari Wildlife Sanctuary Sumatera Utara mengucapkan selamat Hari Gajah Sedunia. Mari kita bangkitkan semangat untuk melakukan konservasi dan menyelamatkan gajah-gajah Sumatera dan gajah Asia. Ayo, tetap semangat.
Halo, saya Marcella Zelianti, Ketua Umum Persatuan Artis Film Indonesia 56. Hari Gajah Sedunia yang jatuh pada tanggal 12 Agustus 2023 mempelajari kondisi gajah Indonesia, terutama gajah Sumatera dan gajah pikmi di Borneo yang hanya terdapat di Indonesia. Untuk menjaga kelestarian gajah Asia dan hewan liar lainnya, terutama yang langka dan terancam punah, saya mendukung konservasi gajah Asia. Semoga sukses, dan jangan lupa tanggal 26 Agustus di Jakarta akan ada peringatan Hari Gajah Sedunia. Bersama kita selamatkan gajah Asia.
Hai, nama saya Wiza. Saya adalah Ketua Yayasan HK. Kami adalah sebuah lembaga yang berfokus pada konservasi, restorasi, dan perlindungan kawasan ekosistem Loiser di Sumatera. Kawasan ekosistem Loiser adalah tempat terakhir di dunia di mana 4 satwa langka, gajah Sumatera, badak Sumatera, harimau Sumatera, dan orangutan Sumatera masih tinggal bersama-sama di alam. Saya ingin mengucapkan selamat Hari Gajah Sedunia yang jatuh pada tanggal 12 Agustus 2023. Mempelajari kondisi gajah Asia, terutama gajah Sumatera dan gajah pikmi di Borneo yang hanya terdapat di Indonesia. Dan untuk menjaga kelestarian gajah Asia dan hewan lain-lainnya, terutama yang langka dan terancam punah, saya mendukung konservasi gajah Asia. Semoga sukses. Jangan lupa tanggal 26 Agustus di Jakarta akan ada peringatan Hari Gajah Sedunia. Hadir ya!
Thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause for our friends and for their video greetings. Next up, we will be having a chat with our friends from Nagari Wildlife Sanctuary. I would like to say hi to Bapak Henry Sukaya and Bapak Ken Komeni on Zoom. How are you guys?
Hello.
You're still on mute. Masih di mute, Pak? So with Nagari Wildlife Sanctuary is so interesting because
Salam sejahtera.
oh, there we go. Salam sejahtera Bapak. How are you, Pak?
Baik, terima kasih sekali. Saya Henry, founder dari Nagari Wildlife Sanctuary. Saya sangat-sangat terkesan acara pada hari ini. Saya merasa kita itu harus semakin semangat ya untuk menyelamatkan gajah-gajah Sumatera, karena mereka juga semakin sedikit adanya ya sampai hari ini gitu. Ya, saya juga terus berusaha. Saya minta dukungan teman-teman agar gajah Sumatera ini berkembang biak. Dan terima kasih sudah
Baik.
Nagari Wildlife Sanctuary, Mbak.
Terima kasih banyak Bapak. So just to sum up what Pak Henry said, we all know that the elephant is a critically endangered species, and we're so grateful that we have Pak Henry right here to be working towards that. Nah, untuk Barumun Nagari Wildlife Sanctuary ini sangat menarik ya. It's so interesting because they're a private organization. Jadi ini organisasi swasta yang bergerak sepenuhnya dalam konservasi gajah. Nah, so they work fully in elephant conservation. Jadi saya mau tanya ke Pak Henry nih, Pak. Jadi kalau di Barumun Nagari Wildlife Sanctuary ini seperti apa sih? What is it like in Barumun Nagari Wildlife Sanctuary?
Di Barumun Nagari Wildlife Sanctuary kita masih pertahankan itu animal welfare, di mana mereka itu kita buat sebebas mungkin, tapi dalam pengawasan manusia. Jadi gajah-gajah yang ada di Barumun Nagari kita berusaha untuk mensejahterakan mereka semampu kita di sana, agar mereka setiap hari bisa happy, bisa layaknya seperti gajah di hutan, walaupun mereka semua gajah kaptif. Ya, terima kasih.
Terima kasih, Pak. So, with the elephants that are in Barumun Nagari, they're roaming free as they can under close monitoring. So, they try to keep them as happy as possible, as cared for as possible, and as free as possible, while still being under great care. I would also like to say hi to Bapak Ken Komeni, Ken Suntoso. Selamat datang juga, Pak. Bapak, mohon maaf, masih di mute.
Halo, selamat pagi. Terima kasih. Saya sendiri hari ini kita tidak bisa melihat karena kami dari Barumun Nagari, pelaku konservasi gajah, ini ingin sekali menyampaikan pesan bahwa kita ini menimbulkan kecintaan kepada gajah ini sangat penting, karena ini akan berdampak pada ekosistem kita sendiri. Jadi kami sangat mendukung itu kehadirannya teman-teman di PFN dan ini Bapak Kim dengan Hafiz untuk hadir langsung di tempat kita, dan kita bisa membuat satu dokumentasi ataupun penyampaian informasi kepada masyarakat, sehingga kita tahu apa yang telah kita lakukan itu bisa kita sampaikan kepada teman-teman yang ingin melakukan konservasi. Jadi kami sangat gembira hati ya. Kalau untuk kegiatan sehari-hari kami tetap memelihara, tetap menjaga ini, dan kita butuh bantuan dalam artian mari kita sama-sama mendukung ini agar lebih baik. Itu.
Baik, terima kasih Pak Ken. So as Pak Ken says, he's very excited to see this collaboration coming in, and to see how, and to have all these filmmakers to come to Barumun Nagari, document, to see what it is like there with the elephants and how they live and how we work together to care for it. I would like to ask a question for both Pak Henry and Pak Ken. Saya mau tanya, kalau di Barumun Nagari itu kesehariannya seperti apa Pak dengan para gajah-gajah ini? What is it like? What's the day in the life like with these elephants?
Oke, jadi setiap paginya itu gajah-gajah kita bawa dan mandi. Setelah itu kita bawa kemana mereka mau. Jadi setiap harinya itu mereka di alam savana. Kadang-kadang mereka saking panasnya ya, jadi berteduh di hutan. Nah, jadi setiap sore kembali lagi ke kandang masing-masing. Akan tetapi gajah itu sangat pintar. mereka tahu jamnya jam berapa mereka mau pulang. Setiap hari itu mereka tahu jam berapa pulangnya gitu.
Oh baik. Kalau dari Pak Ken?
Ini sebenarnya gajah ini ya Pak, seperti manusia juga, selain mereka punya jadwal hidup yang teratur, ini mereka ini perlu disayang-sayang, perlu beri satu seperti petting gitu, atau perlu dibelai-belai. Nah, gitu. Jadi maka interaksi kita dengan gajah ini adalah sangat penting. Ini yang benar-benar sesuatu yang menjadikan konservasi ini berlanjut. Maka daripada itu kami penuh dengan harapan yang besar bahwa bapak-bapak atau ibu-ibu atau saudara-saudara sekalian yang memang bertujuan utama dari kami, marilah kita jumpa di Baru Menagari supaya kita bisa berinteraksi langsung, kita menimbulkan kecintaan langsung, kita bisa membuat upaya-upaya yang lebih luas untuk melestarikan. Jadi benar-benar ini satu hubungan yang sangat baik apabila kita bisa ibarat menyentuh belalainya langsung. Itu Mbak, terima kasih.
Terima kasih Pak Henry dan Pak Ken. So it's really interesting how every day they have a schedule to go out and they get bathed and they can roam around. But the thing about these elephants is that, as people have mentioned before, they are very, very intelligent animals. So they know when they go out and when they're supposed to come home. So it's really, really cool. And Pak Ken, also mentioned how they also need a lot of love and care. So the physical affection that we give them if we stroke their trunks or and just be there for them, it means a lot. And so we hope that people can come to Baru Nagari and experience and care for and just make a connection with these elephants in person. So my next question, pertanyaan terakhir, pertanyaan selanjutnya adalah Pak Henry dan Pak Ken ini memulai Baru Nagari ini dari bagaimana? How did you start Baru Nagari?
Baik, saya menyangka sebenarnya bisa hidup berdampingan dengan gajah. Walaupun waktu SMU ya, saya sempat berpikir bagaimana nantinya gajah-gajah itu kalau nggak pernah kita lihat lagi. Jadi di tahun 2012 saya mencoba untuk berbuat kecil seperti menanam pohon, karena di tempat kita itu savana banget, pohon-pohonnya berkurang. Tapi saya nggak menyangka di sana itu juga ada habitat seperti kayak siamang ataupun burung hornbill ya. Nah, saya terus melakukan penanaman di sana itu. Tiba-tiba di tengah jalan diberi kesempatan untuk menyelamatkan gajah-gajah. Saya sangat-sangat senang sekali diberikan kesempatan itu di tahun 2015. Nah, secara saya nggak tahu entah bagaimana, ini mungkin satu berkah bagi saya bisa menyelamatkan mereka. Di tahun 2019 kita mendapatkan izin menjadi Baru Nagari, dan mudah-mudahan di Baru Nagari kita sudah berhasil membreedingkan 3 anak gajah, dan mudah-mudahan depannya bisa breeding lagi. Terima kasih.
Thank you so much. Terima kasih Pak Henry. So Pak Henry here has become aware of the importance of the issue from high school. He started thinking about what happens, if we can't see these animals again. So he started planting trees. And then in 2015, he came upon the opportunity to do some elephant conservation, and he never looked back since. And so that's really cool. Terima kasih banyak Pak atas ceritanya. Dan terima kasih juga untuk Pak Ken Suntoso. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for all your hard work in elephant conservation. Terima kasih banyak atas kerja keras Bapak dalam pelestarian gajah. Dan mohon jangan pergi dulu ya Pak. Kami akan kembali untuk sesi Q&A. We'll get back to you at the Q&A session. Please ask away all our amazing speakers as we will be heading into the Q&A session right after this one. But before we go into our final speaker of the day or the evening, I would like to say welcome to Bapak Heru Sutmantoro as the head of Balai Taman Nasional Testonilo. Welcome. Thank you so much, Pak, for joining us, and we hope that you're enjoying it so far. Next, and actually last but not least, we have our final speaker of the day. We have Bapak Ananda Hutapea as the president and CEO of Kitong Bisa International. Can we pull up the bio, please?
Hello,
Okay, so we have Ananda Hutapea. Hi, Pak. Who has more than 20 years of experience in international business and negotiation with Billy Mambasar. He co-founded Kitong Bisa Foundation International, or Kitong International, an independent sister organization of Yayasan Kitong Bisa Indonesia, currently serving as its president and CEO. He is also the founding member of Ikatan Alumni ITB North America and currently serving as a staff to the chairman of the global headquarters of the Ikatan Alumni ITB. He has been involved in charitable causes, including PKKA, a 501c3 in the US that provides full tuition scholarships for K-12 grade level students in Indonesia to continue their educations. He has served as the financial secretary for the Knights of Columbus in Arizona, a charity that heavily focuses on economic inclusions and human development, an active engineering mentor for middle school students competing at the Future City competition in the US, and previously served as an officer or board member of several other organizations. And outside of his activities, he runs a company called Advanes Global, I hope I'm saying it right, an international business consultant based in Arizona that he co-founded with other Indonesian diasporas in Europe, Southeast Asia, and the Americas. He is also an engineering consultant with Terracon Consultants, Inc., and has been involved in its transformation into a mostly digital company through numerous digital transformation breakthroughs. He graduated from Institut Teknologi Bandung with a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering and has an MBA in Global Management through Thunderbird School of Global Management. Wow. Hello and good evening and welcome, Pak Adi.
Selamat pagi. Bisa dengar, Mbak? Halo. Sepertinya freezing.
Hello.
Siap.
Yeah, hello, Pak Andi. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Where are you tuning in from, Pak?
I'm in Phoenix, Arizona.
You're in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yep.
Thank you so much for staying late for us. Tell us a little bit about Kitong Bisa International for us, please.
So yeah, a few years back I met with Billy. Couple of years back I met with Billy and talked about how we can try to improve the Indonesian environment and the Indonesian sustainable development goals and things like that. And from there, we decided to start an international version, an international arms of his organization, Yayasan Kitong Bisa. So from there, we took off and started the organization. And thanks to Travis, we were friends, and we've met last year, and he asked me if we can help him and the rest of the Elephant Wild gang to produce a movie about elephants in Indonesia. I was like, okay, I first thought that I could do something that increase awareness about the environment in Indonesia, and that was my very first goal, my very first goal in mind. And I was telling Travis that, yeah, sure, let's do it. I'll help you along the way. And now it becomes clearer to me that the problem in Indonesia is a lot more concerning than I've initially thought. So I'm just glad that we started this, and we try to put a focus to shine a light on Sumatran elephant, especially Sumatran elephant, the least amount of population left in the wild amongst all elephant subspecies, whether African or Asian subspecies. Sumatran elephant is the least in the population numbers. So I'm really glad that we decided to do this and collaborate about this. So that's the reason.
Very well, Pak Andi. And earlier you mentioned that the issue in Indonesia is much more concerning. In what way, and how do you think Elephant Wild can help with that issue?
So yeah, the most concerning part was that the conflict between human and elephant for space. So we destroy their habitat because we need them. I don't blame them. We need those space to keep developing and to keep growing. But at the same time, most of us didn't realize that biodiversity, their survival, the elephant survival, will play the most important part in sustainable developments. Because when you eliminate one part of the ecosystem, it will destroy the sustainable ecosystem. So it's unbalanced ecosystem. So going from there, for some reason, I'm hoping that this celebration will be able to bring people together and realizing that, hey, we have that biodiversity in Indonesia. We might not be able to see the impact of losing one species right now, but in the long run, you will start paying the price if that keeps happening. So it's time we do something. We need to start doing something about this crisis.
Right, and as you mentioned, it is a very complex kind of situation where we do need the development, but also we're putting the biodiversity in harm's way because of it. And so that's why this collaboration, this celebration hopes to shine a light and hopes to take a step forward towards a better future, as you say, because we do not, we might not feel the impact instantly, but in the long run, things will come up, and we do not want to stick around to see the bad things happen, right? And so on to Elephant Wild. How has this collaboration been? You know, you mentioned talking to Travis about this. what has the experience been like for you?
It is a new experience for me, especially going into the a movie industry. I've been involved in digital transformation for the past several years, into decade now, and the leap that we are having in entertainment technologies are mind blowing, and collaborating with Travis and Kim, it's a lot of fun, to be frank with you. It's the most fun that I have in every projects that I already done so far. So this is going to be a very fun project for sure.
Right. What's the most fun insight or the most surprising insight maybe for you during this collaboration so far?
So we discussed a lot about the entertainment aspects. We talk about the technology aspects. We are trying to make decision on how we are going to approach without endangering anybody that involves in the production and things like that. So it's just like learning something new every day in a very fun way. So how can I explain this better? But it's just too much fun. That's for sure.
It's too much fun, and I hope that you guys continue to have fun with this because all of us over here are so excited. We are so enthusiastic about what Elephant Wild is gonna be like, and I'm sure it's gonna be something that means a lot to not just the environmental community or the conservation community, but also the Indonesian or hopefully the international public in general. So my last question to you is probably this: do you have any hopes for the future of raising awareness of these issues, maybe not just for elephant conservation, but social and environmental issues in general, and how we can use all these different medias to bring it forth?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I learned about these new technologies that Travis introduces to us, and from all the digital transformation that's happening within the past decades in my own industry, I kind of like the direction that we are taking right now, especially with AI, with XR, and everything else. This is a blessing for the new generation, for my children's generation, because they will be able to foresee this wildlife, this habitat, these plantations. They can make their own scenarios in their own home with their computers or with their laptops or with their cell phones, whatever gadgets they have, and that will bring our awareness to become a global movement that can be duplicated in a faster rate. And hopefully, by doing that, we can help promote sustainable development everywhere, not just in Indonesia, but everywhere, not just in the US, everywhere. And a better treatment of the environment, including helping the elephant conservations, helping wildlife conservations. That's already protect the environment. You don't need to do anything big. Decide it yourself what you can do to help. That's it.
Right, thank you. I think many times we think of these technological leaps as something scary and something daunting, but I think we've proven today that it can be a really good and useful thing, not just for the advance of technology's sake, but also for the advance of conservation of social issues that are all around us. And I think you raised a really good point about using our critical thinking skills to use what we have, the laptops, the resources that we have to figure out our next move. And I think that's really something to strive for. Thank you so much, Pandi, for your insight. We are so excited and we wish you all the best of luck with Elephant Wild. And now that I'm sorry that we're running out of time to chat. Thank you, but worry not, because we are entering our Q&A session. So I would like to welcome our audience, both offline and online, to send in your question, to raise your hand maybe, to ask your questions to our speakers, whether it's to Mr. Travis Floyd, Kim Dawson, we have Ibu Olga Lydia, Pak Henry and Pak Ken from Barumunagari, and Pak Andi from Kitong Bisa International. So we have a few questions that have already been answered, but maybe Travis can jump in and say a little more. So first we have from Mimi, what is the biggest challenge for film production related with wildlife or nature background? And maybe you can relate this to the process with Elephant Wild.
Yes, great question.
What do you think, Travis?
Yes, thank you. Great question as well. And I tried to answer it in the chat there. So appreciate those questions and keep them coming in. And I also defer a little bit to Mr. Kim Dawson as well on some of those production questions, considering he is one of the best producers and in the history of Hollywood. So you can never have somebody who's bigger and better than that, who's been around more productions than Kim, answer those kind of questions. But I think I split, to answer that up, I think there's a split between physical production and the digital production. Obviously, physical production, it's all about locations. It's all about, cost of locations, getting certain approvals and permits, and so on and so forth. And you need to have the right stakeholders involved. And that is why we brought Andy on the project. Obviously, Andy is a Thunderbird. He's a global thinker. He's a global manager. And so in a lot of our prior conversations, we wanted to have boots on the ground. We wanted somebody who was, familiar with this region of the world, somebody who could help us on navigating physical production partners. So those are the things that we're eager to explore more. But it's, ultimately you can solve any type of challenge or any issue by having the right partners in those regions of the world. That's why we want to work with the right people, the right groups, the right crews, the right talent. They're in Jakarta, in Indonesia. That's our objective, to keep things, like I said, as authentic as can be. And when it comes to digital challenges for us is, how do you leverage the technology to look the highest resolution of photo real, just like the elephants behind me, to be able to see the skin, the detail in the skin, the hair that's coming out of the ears. Those exact details, those photorealistic details are very, very important, not just in the form of how you create the elephant or the elephants, but also the virtual backdrops. And in the industry, it's called world building. It's kind of the future of how we're going to tell stories, is world building. So like I said, great question. Digital and physical are two separate worlds, two separate challenges. And like I said, it's our objective to have the right people that are in the audience there, people that we could potentially work with in the future, to help train them, to help educate them on overachieving those challenges. Thank you.
Thank you, Travis. And we really look forward to that exchange of knowledge and exchange of experience too, as I'm sure people are very, very excited and interested in learning about that. I also have a question for Pak Ken from Barumun Nagari. Pak Ken, boleh nggak sih kita sebagai masyarakat umum lihat ke sana dan kenalan dengan gajah-gajahnya? Can we as the general audience come over to visit and meet the elephants?
Oh, ini sangat-sangat gembira mendengarnya. Tentu sangat. Kami sangat welcome untuk teman-teman yang saja untuk hadir di sana, karena kita memang untuk konservasi sanctuary ini kita memperkenalkan gajah-gajah ini kepada Indonesia ya, atau dunia, bahwa kita ini melakukan tidak seperti yang maaf ya, seperti di kandang atau di hutan atau di sirkus atau sejenisnya. Jadi di sini kami melakukan konservasi itu sehingga kita semua bisa melihat langsung apa yang kami lakukan. Jadi kami sangat menginginkan bahwa kita semua bisa berkumpul di sana untuk merasakan feel-nya kita ini benar-benar bisa merasakan yang namanya
Baik, terima kasih Pak Ken. So, to sum it up briefly, yes, we can come over and visit, and in fact, Barumun Nagari encourages us to come and visit and meet the elephants, get to know them, because they are truly fascinating creatures and truly intelligent and truly deserving of our love and care. And I'm sure that it will be an eye-opening experience for us. Our next question comes from Mimi. We have a question for Kim Dawson. From your experience in producing so many program and movie films, can you share with us what the most important aspect related to animal, wildlife, and natural resources is? What do you think, Kim?
Well, thank you very much for the question, Mimi. I believe that that by shining a light on these topics, you actually bring awareness to, particularly to young people, because I think that, again, is where the impact is going to be greatest. And what we're talking about really with Elephant Wild is creating a suite of content that will impact people at different levels, whether it's in a big screen or on their mobile device. And the one thing that we hope to accomplish by shooting the movie in Sumatra and Jakarta, other locations throughout Indonesia, is to make people aware around the world of the wonderful tourism opportunities that exist, and to help bring more people in a safe environment where they come for ecotourism purposes, and they actually learn and engage with the people who are on the front lines. When you have those kinds of experiences, and then by creating digital twins of those experiences and being able to spread those throughout the world, you can take somebody from Iceland or somebody from Japan or Arizona or whatever. They can all share that experience, and suddenly they become advocates for this change, for the opportunities to really help preserve and protect these. And it's not just elephants; it's wildlife altogether, and the habitats themselves. As you know, as habitats disappear, we lose opportunities for visitation and for being able to really engage in nature in ways that we can't get back. So hopefully the combination of both the publicity of around the motion picture and the fundraising that'll be done to help these various causes and the various organizations that are so actively involved in these issues will all become part of this new family that we're building. In a sense, one of the things I love about filmmaking is whenever you go on a production, you come away with lifelong friends and lifelong relationships that you'll be able to manage and enjoy really for the rest of your life. That's one of the true benefits that Andy spoke about. You know, the fun that we have, but it's also it's deeper than that. When you're in the pits of making a motion picture, it can be fairly intense. There's a lot of moving parts, and it's a very collaborative process, and everybody pulls together. And when that happens, you create relationships that are truly lifelong. And we hope to be able to do that not just with people, but also with the elephants as well. I hope that answers your question, Nina.
Very well said, Kim. I think I totally agree with you on that. We come away from these film productions with lifelong friends, and we also have this newfound, deeper understanding of the issue. And I believe that as filmmakers, as storytellers, we're merely just the messengers to these issues, and we help. And hopefully we can help people connect to the issue and have their own sort of story to tell with them. So thank you so much. I think this next question is for Pak Henry from Barumunagari. Apa langkah pertama yang bisa dilakukan generasi muda untuk berpartisipasi dalam menyelamatkan gajah? So what is the first step that the young generation can do to participate in elephant conservation? What do you think, Pak Henry? Sepertinya masih di mute, Pak. Mohon maaf, masih di mute. Yes.
Edukasi, coba mengambil anak-anak SD bagaimana cara mewarnai gajah, dan juga dengan boneka-boneka gajah ataupun film gajah. Dan saya rasa awal mula yang kita tanamkan kepada adik-adik kita di SD agar mereka itu bisa mencintai lingkungannya dan juga mencintai satwanya sekaligus. Ya, terima kasih.
Terima kasih, Pak Henry. So, from very, very simple things, from storytellings, from dolls, from stuffed animals, from movies, that's usually our first experience, right? I believe Ibu Olga earlier mentioned about Jungle Book, and there's also, you know, a lot of my experiences as well have to do with pop culture. You know, I watched TV, you know, watching Free Willy that Ibu Chandra mentioned earlier. Those things can be the first steps towards saving elephants by being aware of their existence first and foremost, and to spread the word. That, I feel, is the easiest and the first step to take. The next question is for Miss Olga. As actress and producer as well, have you ever had any experience with nature and wildlife in your work?
Yes. Once there's an advertiser, I involved in an ad actually, and it took place in Kalimantan. In Tanjung Puting is one of the conservation for orangutan, and then I also met with the one and only Mary Birut Gladikas. That she is like a legend, because she's one of the 3 women that study big apes with John Goddell, probably. People also knows John Goddell for chimps and Diane Forsey for gorilla. So I met her also, and it's fascinating because in Tanjung Puting is so beautiful. The nature is It's amazing. In the morning, the river, it's like a mirror that reflects everything above it. And there is a thin fog. It's mystical and beautiful. So I went there, and every morning they have this session of feeding time, because some of the orangutan is taken from the people who own it, but return to the jungle, and of course they need to adapt. So in that adaptation phase, the organization still give food to them. So in the morning there's feeding time, they have milk and everything, and it's so cute to watch them eating, and it's so close to them. So that's one of my experience while I'm doing my job.
Oh, that's a very eye-opening, life-changing
It
experience,
is.
I would imagine.
It is. I cannot stand to see their eyes. I mean, like, it's so beautiful. It's so cute, and it made me a bit sad, because I know how human is so cruel to them. But they are very kind, very cute and kind.
Yes, and that's something that maybe a lot of people don't know about, is how kind and how emotionally intelligent they are too. Yes. Thank you so much, Ms. Olga, for your wonderful share of experience. There's a little shout out from Sophia. Hi, Travis. I heard that you and Marcela Zalianti are collaborating to work on the film Gajah Liar, Elephant Wild. I'm really excited to wait for the film's release. Yes, so are we. And another question for Shana. For Shannon, is she here? I'm not sure. But the question is, there you
here,
go.
yes.
Hello.
Hello.
What do you think if in your future you can't see the real elephant even in the zoo and only in games and in electronic media? What will you do?
I think that that's a very painful thing to think about now. Of course, without elephants in the future, I think that's very heartbreaking to think that there's a possibility that so many young generation are not able to see elephants. And I think that's why it's important for us as the young generation to make an act and change that, so that the young generation can still know what elephants are and can still see them in person. So I think that's why we have to make an act now, and we should inspire each other to make a change for a better world. Thank you.
Thank you. That is very well said, Shana. And you're right. It is a very painful thing to imagine not to have them here with us anymore. I know that right now it feels so far away because we're in a building in the middle of a city, but the fact that they are such an integral part of our environment, of our communities, of our lives, is nothing to be undermined about. And I think, and I completely agree with you, that we should take a stand. We should take action right now and do what we can. I think we have a question for, we seem to be running out of time, which is just in time because we have answered all of the questions. Thank you so much for asking such wonderful questions. I hope that your questions are answered. And of course, thank you so much to our speakers for lending your experience and your knowledge and your time to join us here. Thank you. Let's give a round of applause for our speakers.
Thank you. Thank you for being such a wonderful host as well.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. You're great.
Thank you.
Yep.
The pleasure
Thanks,
is
Anjali.
ours.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, I may or may not have mentioned earlier, but we do have a very exciting announcement. Yes. So, after this webinar, we will be holding a poster competition with the theme Selamatkan Gajah. Save elephants mean you save the world. This is open for public, so anyone can join, and I'm sure, as we have said before, we have a lot of cash prizes and we have a lot of certificates, so please join up. The link for registration you can see it on the social media, on the Instagram of PFN. You can go on their Instagram now, at Studio PFN. So that's STUDIO PFN. So let's go. Let's join this poster competition. Get creative. Get wild. And all the best of luck. So, with that in mind, we have reached the end of the webinar, and I would like to invite Shana Shannon once more to lend your beautiful voice. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, this evening. And my name is Ajeng Sharfina. I'm signing off. Please give a round of applause for Shana Shannon, ladies and gentlemen.
Untukmu Indonesiaku, hasrat bahagia di masa
Thank you so much, Shana Shannon. Last but very not least, we are going to take a photo session with everyone. So if you're online, let's gather up. And if you're on Zoom, please turn on your camera. Let's coordinate with the team here. I'm not sure if we're still doing, I'm not sure if everyone is still here though. I believe that some people have left. All right. Since that we have reached the end of the session, I would just like to say thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for supporting the cause, and thank you for making this happen. Once again, my name is Ajeng Sharfina, and I'm signing off. Thank you, good day, good night.
Thank you all.
just so good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you. You'll be like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you so much. As long as love is alright. And I think I'm alive. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you. Pardon the way that I stare. There's nothing else to compare. The sight of you is really the only word left to speak. Baby, if you feel like I feel, please let me know that it's real. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you. I love you, baby, and if it's quite alright, I need you, baby, to want this lonely night. I love you, baby. Trust in me when I say, oh, pretty baby, don't let me down. I pray, oh, pretty baby. Now that I found you, stay and let me love you, baby. Let me love you. You're just so good, so true. Can't take my eyes off you. You'll be like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you so much. As long as love is alright. And I think I'm like, you're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you. I love you, baby, and if it's quite alright, I need you, baby, to all this lonely night. I love you, baby. Trust in me when I say, oh, pretty baby, don't let me down. I pray, oh, pretty baby. Now that I found you, stay and let me love you, baby. Let me love you. Okay, this first song, Can't Take My Eyes Off You. Lagu kedua mungkin sambil menunggu teman-teman menikmati hidangan. Siapa yang belum ambil makanan bisa di belakang. Silahkan menikmati hidangannya sambil dihibur sedikit-sedikit oleh kita berdua. Engkau datang ketika aku jatuh bangun dan jatuh dalam langkah menyusuri kehidupanku yang kelam, dan hampir-hampir ku tidak melangkah lagi. Dirimu hadir bagaikan sinar menerangi jalanku. Kau tunjukkan arah mana yang kini harus ku tempuh, agar diriku tak sesat lagi seperti dulu. Bersama-mu kasih, seakan-akan ku terjaga dari mimpi-mimpi, dari kehidupan yang semu dan melenakanku, membuatku terlupa akan segala-galanya. Hari ini ku mencoba berdiri dan melangkah lagi. Bila esok sinar mentari pagi akan bersinar lagi, aku akan menuju cita-cita yang pasti. tunjukkan arah mana yang kini harus kutempuh, agar diriku tak sesat lagi seperti dulu. Bayanganmu kasih akan ku dari mimpi-mimpi, dan melenakanku, membuatku terlupa akan segala-galanya. Hari ini aku mencoba berdiri dan melangkah lagi. Bila esok sinar mentari pagi kan bersinar lagi, aku akan menuju cita-cita yang pasti. Bersama bayanganmu kasih, seakan-akan ku terjaga dari mimpi-mimpi, dari kehidupan yang semu, dan melenyapkanku, membuatku terlupa akan segala-galanya. Hari ini aku mencoba berdiri dan melangkah lagi. Bila esok sinar mentari pagi kan bersinar lagi, aku akan menuju cita-cita yang pasti. Pasti yang pasti. Oke, sambil menikmati makannya, kita coba, ada yang punya request? Enggak ya? Aku tak mengerti apa yang ku rasa, rindu yang tak pernah begitu hebatnya. Aku mencintaimu lebih dari yang kau tahu, meski kau takkan pernah tahu. Aku persembahkan hidupku untukmu, telah ku relakan hatiku padamu. Namun kau masih bisu, diam 1000 bahasa, dan hati kecilku bicara. Baru ku sadari cintaku bertepuk sebelah tangan. Kau buat rambut seluruh hatiku. Semoga waktu akan mengilhami sisi hatimu yang beku. Semoga akan datang keajaiban hingga akhirnya kau pun mau. Aku mencintaimu lebih dari yang kau tahu, meski kau takkan pernah tahu. Baru ku sadari tangan kau buat rambut seluruh hatiku. Ku sadar cintaku bertepuk sebelah tangan. Kau buat rambut seluruh hatiku.